You know, the receivers, your team, your line, everybody has to readjust to the new player. And here's one point I want to bring out. When it was first and goal, and we needed, like a half inch?
Yep.
We couldn't get a touchdown. We fell for a field goal, whereas I think Johnny came in and just ran it himself, basically. I mean, he probably had more rushing yards last game than the running back.
Yeah, but look, you got two running backs. Their job is to be able to run the ball. You got to also look at the offensive line. They've got to be able to push for 1 yard. The only off-the-wall suggestion I heard yesterday, somebody stopped me after the game and said, you need 1 yard. You got those big offensive linemen. Why not give Danny Shelton the ball and let him run up there? Because it was funny because I saw Michael Dean Perry yesterday too, and I started thinking about that. I was thinking about his brother. I was going through all these things.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think of that?
I think that's a great idea. Give him the ball. Let him run it in. I mean,
let Danny do it.
Well, on that one, remember the first down? They brought in Cam Irving as a tackle eligible, and he got blown up on the play. He ended up farther back than the running back who didn't go anywhere. So why not? Try something different. Bring a jumbo package in. Let that guy be your lead fullback. Give him the ball. What's it going to hurt?
Well, it won't hurt anything, but I mean, at the same time, you don't have an offensive line coach. I mean, you got an assistant coach that's coaching the offensive line. So is that playing into the play too?
Or is Alex hurt? Or am I just making excuses for him?
I think they're making excuses for him right now. I mean, if you're going to be out there, you're going to give it 110% or 100% because it ain't 110. But if you're going to be out there, you definitely got to give them 100%.
Brian, thank you for the phone call. 216-431-3820 is our number. What do you got, Eric, the referee?
We also got Frank on the phone line. He's actually in town, but he's also the president of the Browns Backers of Italy. He's on the phone lines joining us.
All right, hang on. Hey, Frank Lauer is the Browns Backers of Italy. Hi, Frank. How are you this morning?
I'm great, guys. Thanks.
Did you go to the game yesterday?
Yes, sir, I did.
How was it? First of all, before we even get in the game, tell me about Browns Backers of Italy. How big is your club? Where do you guys meet?
Okay, so officially, because we just got actually recognized, targeted on the Browns Backer Worldwide website, we only have 4 people. However, we got about 24 folks in our community. We meet on base to watch the game, or at some of the folks' house that's near the area.
And so 4 yesterday, do you think you'll lose? You'll go down to 2 after yesterday's game, or do you think you'll stay at 4, or do you think you'll be able to expand?
You know, I'm not a statistician. I was never a football coach. I played football when I was a kid. I loved it. Those guys get paid to do that, and you know, let them do their jobs. The one thing, if you don't mind,
sure,
that I'd like to bring up is kind of a positive rant, even in the face of our loss yesterday.
Sure.
And you know, I live in Italy. I haven't lived in Cleveland in 39 years. But worldwide, what I can say is that everywhere I go, everyone has nothing but positive things to say about our team. Specifically in Cleveland, you know, this may be normal to you guys, and you might not notice it, but to me it was kind of cool because no matter what, when you talk to people, they have positive things to say about the team. They always end the conversation with "Go Browns," they're strangers, and that's kind of the same thing that we experience whenever I travel through Europe and wear any kind of Browns gear. It's pretty cool, and we felt it yesterday because we had the opportunity to actually stand on the 5-yard line. Some of the members of Browns Backers Italy, as well as our family, and you know, to feel the energy of the team in that stadium was nothing but unbelievable. It was incredible. Even though my son was born and raised in Italy, he's never been to a professional event. He had a great time. He would have had a better time, he admitted, if our team would have won, but he still loved it, and it was a great experience. So, you know, whatever people say as far as orange and brown until I die, that's the case. We love it. We're only here for 4 short days. We actually fly out this morning, and appreciate the fact that you guys wanted to talk to us.
Oh, Frank, we're a pleasure to have you. I'm going to give you just I love your attitude. I love how positive you are this morning. Do yourself a favor. Don't listen to Kenny's show down in Canada. And really don't listen to the radio at all today because that positivity, right, Kenny, you're with me on this. Kenny,
you know what? I'm half Italian, so give me some pasta, give me some good vino, and I'll watch the game with him. We'll have a good time.
Well, I can guarantee you next week when I watch the game, I will be vinoed up appropriately.
It's the only way to watch your Browns.
That was the advice I believe that Blutarski gave Flounder. My advice to you would be to drink heavily.
Okay.
Hey, and Frank, I'm just curious, probably, what'd you think of the halftime show? I heard the guy that was the MC was outstanding, giving Bob Golick his honor to go into the Legends Club. I heard the halftime show. Did you stick around for that? Did you watch that?
No, I didn't. Our son's 10 years old, so he had some other bodily functions he needed to take care of.
Oh, that's too bad. All right, hey,
So did
Frank,
I. I missed the halftime show myself.
Frank, I hope you have a great time here. I'm glad you had a positive experience. The problem for us, I think, is that we're muddled in it every day, and I think if you get a little slice of the pie the way you've been able to, totally respect the way you feel about it, and I'm glad you had a good time, and I'm glad you had a good experience, Frank.
No, we did, and thanks, guys. It was a great experience, and again, appreciate you guys reaching out to us and just asking for a different view.
Hey, Frank, I just want to make sure, just tell anybody, I know you're only 4 of you, but if somebody's in Italy or they're vacationing and they want to go see a Browns game, they want to hang out with you, what should they do to hang out with the Browns backers of Italy?
Absolutely. Go to the Browns Backers Worldwide, look for Browns Backers Italy, or email me at brownsbackersitaly@gmail.com. We're near Venice, about 3 minutes from Venice, and we'll do what we need to get you signed on to the band, and we'll take you to the sports place, and we'll watch the game together.
Hey, what time are the games air there?
You guys normally start at 1 o'clock here. We watch games at 7 p.m. there.
7 p. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Prime time, that's the way to do it.
You'd definitely be vinoed up by 7 p.
Hey,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Frank, thank you. Always welcome to be on the show. If you ever want to Skype in and give us a little tour of Italy, we'd love it. The only tour of Italy that most of us know is at
Beautiful women. There's no, come on, there's beautiful women in Italy,
I've lived there for 15 years, and it certainly doesn't suck. So.
Ciao, Frank.
Have a great day, Frank. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, let's go to our Edinboro correspondent. Not Edinboro overseas in was it Glasgow?
George?
Is that right?
Yes.
Glasgow?
Yeah.
Is that where it is?
Yeah, Glasgow. Yeah.
Sorry.
Glasgow, Edinburgh.
Glasgow it is. Let's go to Tubby, who's our Edinboro reporter. Hi, Tubby.
Hi, George.
No, Tubby.
Hey, fellas. How are you guys doing?
Wait, are you still Tubby, or do you have your real
He's
name
George.
now? What are you?
It's George Schmidt.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have on my Twitter handle, I have George Schmidt, but yeah, I'm still Tubby.
Now you're George Schmidt.
Tubby, did you go to the game yesterday? Let's start there.
No, it was my birthday weekend, so I had a great weekend at home with my family.
All right.
How did Edinboro do this weekend? Did they win?
No, but they were able to hold Cal to like 37 points.
They played Cal?
Yeah, it's Cal of
They
Pennsylvania.
played California?
It's
No.
California Correctional Institute.
No, Cal, Pennsylvania,
No,
right?
jerkwad. Throw a flag on the ref. He sucks.
Here, I'll give him.
Who'd they play? Was it Caltech?
No, it's Cal of
Well,
Pennsylvania.
I don't give a crap about Edinboro football. Tubby, just tell me about the Browns, will you please?
All right, these motherfuckers. I don't understand. I mean, the defense was supposed to step up, and it was supposed to be like the glory of Cleveland. And they fucking sucked. And then we couldn't get the run going. And then McCown's old ass kept underthrowing every fucking body. I just, I'm rooting for Buffalo. You know, go Bills.
Come on, man. You're a diehard Browns fan. You really going to say that?
That's a low blow.
Well, no, I mean, I'm watching the
wagons.
Browns and I'm trying, but
That's a low blow.
Next thing you're going to say you're rooting for Michigan. Oh, so did I say that? Pierre was on set. Sorry. Did you say you're rooting for
oh my
Michigan?
God, go jump in a fucking fire. You suck.
Hey, no, you better root for Michigan, man. We on the rise. Believe that.
Yeah, not for like the next
Power
5 years.
football, buddy.
You're not going to beat the Ohio State University.
Listen, Edinboro ain't beat nobody. So you go ride off somewhere.
We're like Division II, Division III. Why are you picking on us?
I ain't picking on
You
you.
got
You
enough
picking
to
on
worry about in
Michigan.
the Big Ten.
You started. You and Andy started this, man. So guess what?
I
can
just
finish
brought
it.
it up. I had nothing to do
Look,
with
I will
it.
drive the 2.5 hours. I will
When
finish this
Edinboro
shit.
win the game, come and
I
talk
may
to
go
me.
down, but you're going to wake up tomorrow.
We just won
regretting
31-0 against a ranked team.
I believe Edinboro's in the same conference as Appalachian State, right?
So
Oh, wait,
what?
no,
I wasn't
no,
there when they
no.
played.
it. We're like in the PSAC West.
You're in a what?
PSAC?
The PSAC West.
Yeah. It's
You know what that means.
Pennsylvania
Seriously,
State
you
Athletic
realize
Conference.
that you just called your conference the PSAC
Yeah,
West.
I
So there's
know.
an East on top of that, right?
Huh?
So there's an East then too,
Yeah, there's an East and a West.
and it's the PSAC.
It's the PSAC. PSAC.
PSAC.
PSAC.
PSAC.
Okay.
It's not
Yep.
embarrassing.
the
You can't come up with a better name than that.
No, I didn't do
I'm
it.
P. I got a sack, and there it is.
I thought you had to pee.
I'm
That's
just
how they're
saying.
going to say. All right, Tubby, who's starting at quarterback next week?
You got to go with Johnny. Why play McCown? I mean, we're going to have the number 1 or number 2 draft pick overall. So you need to know if you need to pick a QB or if you need to go wide receiver.
Is the season over? Are you telling me season's over?
It's over.
It is?
It's over. I predicted 4-12, and I doubt they're going to get that many. We'll be lucky if we win 2.
All right, do me a favor, cover your PSAC. I don't want you to get hurt there, okay?
Yeah, hey, don't forget you can catch my show at 9 a.m. through EdinboroNow.com.
Will you be breaking down the PSAC?
Yep, we cover all the action in the PSAC.
Does it sting when Edinboro loses in the PSAC?
Yeah, it's kind of like rooting for the Browns.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Okay.
Take some penicillin and take care of it. Thanks, Tubby.
I did. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
All right.
There we go.
We love
See you,
Tubby.
George.
Let's go to Skype One real quick. Craig Lindell's hanging out from Waiting for Next Year. Hi, Craig. How are you?
Good morning, guys. The guy from who roots for the PSAC, who goes by the name Tubby, is making fun of Pierre Woods. That's phenomenal.
Very nice start. Very nice start for you.
Craig, give us your thoughts on yesterday's game.
I think it all starts with head coach Mike Pettin, and I tried to start all that criticism on Waiting for Next Year, and people confuse the idea of criticizing the head coach with wanting him to be fired automatically, because that's pretty much what we're used to in Cleveland. That's not really what I'm going for here, but he has to stand responsible for how this team came out yesterday. They looked like they didn't even they weren't ready to start the game. The game plan wasn't executed at all from the beginning. And the things that this team is supposed to be good at, that it's designed to be good at, they're not good at. The fact that people want to talk about the run defense, and I think that's a big problem, but the lack of pressure on a quarterback like Derek Carr is totally inexcusable.
I got a question for you just before we get back into the Browns. Can we drop his name, CG, for a second? And if you're listening, did you go out and buy one of those real high-end microphones at the Apple store?
No, I've had that one for a long time. That's my instrument mic.
Oh, that's what you're. So I mean, that is a legit microphone.
Oh, it's
isn't
totally
it?
legit. The whole room's legit. That
No,
he's
no.
got.
I mean, well, no, he's not listening.
Do you not remember the hit song you played on our show 2 years ago?
No,
Where
I
Are You,
remember
Michael
the hit
Lombardi?
song you played on our show the other day. But I'm just looking at the microphone that you're actually using on your computer.
Oh, yeah. No, I've had this one too. It's it's a legit broadcasting microphone.
Yeah, I'm really
sounds
impressed.
good. It
Sounds
great.
it's better than the mic. Wait, check. Might be better than the mic we have here. All right, how do we fix? First, let's go this direction. Is the season over, as Tubby would tell you?
I mean, define the season and define over, because certainly the Browns were loosely involved in playoff talk last year for quite a while. I mean, the playoff picture graphics on ESPN hadn't excluded the Browns completely and totally. But I don't think that will happen this year. I think those graphics will skip the Browns all year long, if that's what you mean by over. But I still think that this team has some decent pieces. They've got a decent overall team. They lack stars. They've got no one superstar that seems to play up and above beyond, what we expect them to play. And that's the really frustrating thing. There's not a superstar pass rusher. There's not a superstar offensive player. We don't even get to sit back and dream that Josh Gordon might come back this year. I mean, people forget we had that dream a year ago, and that was legit. Even though we know how it all turned out, there's no player like that on the horizon with this team, and there's nobody on the roster, even with Travis Benjamin showing us his first 2 weeks how he could get over the top. There's nobody on this team that you're gonna kind of point to at the end of the year and say, "Yep, that's our franchise superstar caliber player."
All right, Craig, I'm going to play this game with you and Kenny and everybody on the set. You're Ray Farmer. You're watching yesterday's game. You're watching Khalil Mack. You're watching Derek Carr. You're watching Amari Cooper drive your team into the ground. What's going through your mind, and should you be looking for another job? Go ahead, Craig. You take it first. I'm going to go to Kenny next.
I don't think Ray Farmer. I think maybe Ray Farmer should be looking for another job, but I don't think he will be, because I think that for once in the history of the Browns since 1999, somebody's going to give these guys 5 years just to take their lumps and learn from their mistakes. And maybe I'm naive, but it seems to me that Jimmy Haslam might have finally learned that he can't just fire everybody.
Kenny, are they on a 5-year plan?
I don't think Ray Farmer's on a 5-year plan. Mike Pett might be on a 5-year plan. I don't think Ray Farmer. I was just, hey guys, check this out. Ray Farmer doesn't think wide receivers matter in the National Football League, right? Julio Jones, 12 receptions, 164 yards, 2 touchdowns yesterday. A.J. Green, 10 receptions, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns yesterday. Mari Cooper, 8 catches, 134 yards against the Browns yesterday. Sammy Watkins, the only one. He only had 1 catch for 39 yards. This is a league now that is built on offense, not around defense. You need to score points to win games. Wide receivers, the rules benefit the wide receivers. The league wants to see scoring. They want excitement. They don't want the old ground and pound football. They want wide receivers to star in this league, and Ray Farmer refuses to go out and draft a wide receiver high in the draft or sign a big name free agent. Ray Farmer, Dwayne Bowe, Brian Hartline had a decent game, but he's a 3 at best on any other team. Ray Farmer will be looking for work at the end of this year.
Do you agree with that, Mike?
Yeah, I think that Ray Farmer won't be with this team next year. I don't think he makes it after this year's over. I think that's it. I think he's one and done. And then Mike Pett may be on the 5-year plan. I think it's more like 3 or 4. The option for the 5th year. But when it comes to the wide receivers, Ray Farmer pointed it out. He said he would never take a wide receiver in the 1st round, which it just boggles my mind. Why would you not take the best football player that's available to your team that could be a game changer? And this could be any wide receiver. You can go back to last year's wide receiving class. It didn't sniff at him. He had 4 top wide receivers in that first 10 picks. And he continued to say, we don't draft wide receivers in the 1st round.
I got a question, though.
It still boggles my mind.
Go ahead, Craig.
So if Justin Gilbert was actually a lockdown corner, would we be having this conversation about the wide receivers? Is this really about the position group or the fact that he's whiffed on a guy like Justin Gilbert?
Well, not just Justin Gilbert, though.
Let me give you the $9 million reasons why he's going to be looking for a job
There
next
it is.
season. Dwayne Bowe was a healthy scratch yesterday, guys. Healthy scratch.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How about this one?
That's hanging over Ray's head like a noose. I
saw him in the fourth
and I'm not trying to be
game.
In the off season, the Jets traded a 5th-round pick for Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
And the Browns drafted Vince Mailey in the 4th round, who is not on our team anymore.
I don't know. If you're Jimmy Haslam and you're talking to payroll and you're like, hey, did we cut those checks this week? Ooh, how much did we give Dwayne Bowe to be a healthy scratch? How does that happen?
I think Ray has a little problem from when he was in Kansas City. They drafted a receiver, I believe, from either Missouri or either Pittsburgh, and the guy he ain't pan out.
Right.
Then they traded him from Kansas City and took the guy that San Francisco had, and they swapped the 1st-round receivers, and they both flopped. I mean, I don't think they're in their league anymore right now. So I don't know if that's his reasons, but I know one thing: he needs to get out of here.
Is Dwayne Bowe the reason he's in hot water? Just real quick, because I want to go back. Dwayne Bowe.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. The draft picks you can kind of live with. The Dwayne Bowe thing puts him in hot water.
Why can you live with the draft picks? Why should you live with the draft picks when over the last 2 years it's been the deepest 2 years of wide receiver drafts in rounds 1 through 5, and you still didn't come away with any of them?
I'm with you on that, Kenny. Look, I totally agree with you, but I think that you can kind of back off on a draft pick for just a second, saying these guys are young. I'll give a guy 3 years if I'm going to draft him that high. I mean, Johnny looks like Johnny looked good last week, but still, I think people were hoping for maybe a little bit more. I still want to hold back on Johnny, and I'm willing to do that based on the fact that he was willing to go into rehab, and I saw him with a little bit of magic last week. But Justin Gilbert and Dwayne Bowe have got to be a thorn or a hemorrhoid for Jimmy Haslam when he thinks about that. I mean, there's just no question. Craig, your thoughts on that?
So I'm just asking the question, and I'm sure everybody will jump in and say, yeah, no, he can't. But can Ray Farmer get better? I mean, he's a guy who was in demand. Everybody wanted him to be their general manager a year ago is what it seemed like. And I'm with you on the record. I agree on everything that everybody's saying in terms of criticism. It's the conclusion. I mean, are the Browns better off by not sticking it together, keeping their scouting staff together, and trying to improve on the process, or do they just need to fire everybody?
Well, I think here's part of the problem. This all starts with Joe Banner. You go back to Joe Banner, and he brings in Mike Lombardi. I don't care what you think about Mike Lombardi. That whole thing was a mess They should have just made Lombardi the general manager out of the gate. Then suddenly, mythically, they decided they want to bring Ray Farmer from player personnel into here. Well, the only way they could do that was to make him the assistant general manager. So now you've got all these problems. I think all these problems stem from the fact that Joe Banner, the businessman, was a good businessman. But in football terms, I just don't know if he made a lot of good moves. And one of those good moves was bringing both Lombardi and Farmer here at the same time. Those guys were like oil and water. They didn't want to be in the same room. And I think that what happened was when they went through the coaching search and they decided they ended up with Mike Pettin, Jimmy Haslam hated the fact that he was getting turned down left and right. So Jimmy watched this whole process play out, and then he saw Mike and he saw Joe kind of not on the same page, and he said, you know what? Joe wasn't mine. The league gave me him. I'm going to cut my losses with that. Take your buddy Lombardi with you. And then all of a sudden, Ray had an interview in Miami. Would he have got the job? People are saying maybe he would have got the job. I didn't hear anybody other than Miami say they wanted Ray Farmer to be his general manager. This mess starts from the day the league said to Jimmy Haslam, Joe Banner's your guy. Now, from a business standpoint, love Joe. I think Joe, smart guy from
not a talent evaluator.
But when it came to football, and we used to ask Joe that, Joe, are you a football guy? And I never give us an answer. That's where the problem started with this whole thing. You want to chime in?
No, I agree. He was not a talent evaluator. He was all the business side of football, and that was one of the things they thought it would clean up. But when it comes to building a football team, yeah, you're right. It did start there with Joe Banner, and I don't think Ray Farmer is any better at building a football team until you get somebody that actually has a vision. That's not a one-year vision or a day-to-day vision. It's actually like a 3-year plan. Like, here's what we're going to do. We need to start now. I don't see that with this team.
Well, we can't break the regime up right now. We do that, then the guys are going to feel like, well, man, they keep firing these guys, bring these guys in, fire, bring them.
They're leaving anyways, Pierre. The free agents, they're getting the hell out of here. They don't care. They're gone.
You know what? Dwayne Bowe's still here for 9 million reasons. So, I mean, if they know they can come here and get paid just like they used to do in Buffalo, that's what they're going to do. And
yeah, but you're going to get guys on the back nine of their career just looking for a paycheck. That's all. You're not going to get any players that actually contribute to this. And think about this. The Browns are the only organization that hire people for the wrong jobs. Mike Holmgren was hired. Should have been the head coach. He was the general manager. He failed at that in Seattle, and he came here and failed miserably. Joe Banner, good point, Andy, there. He's a business guy, not a football guy. They hire him to do the wrong jobs. Starts at the top with Jimmy Haslam, guys.
Yeah, you know, it's an interesting story. We heard this last night, and then Craig, I'm going to let you go here in a second. I just want to find out what's going on. But we heard an interesting story in the last 24 hours. Mike and I were sitting talking around, and Kenny asked me, because maybe I just wasn't around at this point, but there was a point where Ozzie Newsome had thought about coming back to the Browns, and he wanted 10% of the team in total control. If you could go back and tell Randy Lerner to do that now, how happy would we all be?
Very happy.
Well, that'd be a no-brainer. You'd do that in a heartbeat if indeed that was 100% accurate. Don't know if it was, but absolutely. Ozzie is in the Hall of Fame as a tight end. He could get inducted again or added to his plaque as one of the best general managers in recent history.
Yeah. Would have been interesting. All right, Craig, let's go back to you. Just touch on any of the thoughts we just had just now, and then I want to find out what's going on with waiting for next year. Craig.
Well, I'd give Ozzie 30% to come over now at this point, the way. And I want them to keep it together. And waiting for next year, we're obviously talking about yesterday's Browns game, unfortunately. And my column is up there about how this rests on Mike Pettin. And, obviously he doesn't catch passes or make tackles, but it's still his responsibility how badly the team came out yesterday. That's not me asking for him to be fired.